Every year, tens of millions of people flock to hundreds of slopes across the country to satisfy the leg workout they crave all summer long. In the 2023-24 ski season, over 60 million people went skiing and snowboarding across the country, a growth of 7% over 10 years. And as the sport has become more accessible through multi-mountain passes, and climate change shortens the length of the ski season, more experienced skiers and snowboarders are craving exclusivity.
And there's 5,000 acres through here.
Something Reed Hastings decided to do something about.
We're at Powder Mountain. It's 10,000 acres of skiing, one of the largest resorts in the world. Half of it roughly is public and half of it is Powder Haven, or a private skiing resort. And it's been tremendously exciting these last 2 years to be putting this together.
You might recognize Hastings from his 25-year tenure as CEO of Netflix. He joined the board of Bloomberg LP in October of 2023. Hastings started Netflix back in 1997, growing it from a DVD rental service with $270,000 in annual revenue its first year into a global streaming giant, bringing in $33.7 billion when he stepped down in 2023.
David, we're one of the areas that is a new neighborhood coming. So it's beautiful aspens, incredible views. There'll be 37 lots here. That's our land.
But through it all, Hastings maintained his passion for skiing.
When did you first ski? Where did you find your love of skiing?
Well, I was fortunate that my mom was a skier, and so we skied most years as a Christmas vacation. But I wasn't hardcore, I wasn't a ski racer, wasn't all of that. And that was up until I was 20 or so, and then my 20s I didn't ski. And then 40s and 50s, we had kids, and we had a place in Park City, so that was tremendous. But again, I was full-time at Netflix, so I was maybe 10 days a year of skiing. What had happened in Park City is long lines, big crowds, no powder. So we moved here, which is about an hour away.
Do you remember the first time you came to Powder?
Yeah, absolutely. It was Christmas in 2016, super crowded in Park City. Drove over here, and then it was just wide open, incredible Powder. We fell in love with uncrowded, the high altitude, which keeps the snow very good, and the community, very warm and generous.
What's up?
And then I retired from Netflix, and then invested in Powder, and eventually started running it.
You heard that right. Reed loved the mountain so much, he bought it. The Netflix tycoon is now taking on a new challenge, building and partially privatizing a ski resort community, after identifying a part of the market he thought wasn't being served.
You're only really making a difference when you're changing the rules. At Powder, we're the first one to be fusing private club skiing and public skiing together. In golf, about 25% of US golf courses, 4,000 and 16,000, are private. And that's because you get better tee times, you get a clubhouse, social interaction. Sometimes they're residential, sometimes not. But in skiing, it's really just been Yellowstone Club and Wasatch Peaks Ranch. So we're only the third out of 500. So there's tremendous demand as people move to the subscription club orientation. So changing the ski industry is something that's the next big challenge.
There was an attempt here on Powder Mountain before, which I think brought you here originally. Why did that one fail, and why is this one different?
You know, that was all public skiing, and it's very difficult to compete with Epic and Icon. Those are really the transformative forces for high-crowded, low-cost resorts. And Powder tried to differentiate, but did not have the private skiing. So I was here just as a member or as a homeowner. And then post-Netflix, I had the time and I had the capital, fortunately, to really do this transformation.
How do you grow this business?
You know, if I was younger, I might be tempted to try to replicate this and do in every state of the union. But for me, we're just going to build in one incredible boutique. It's a real estate business. The difference here is when the owner-operator lives in the community, it's really driven from the community. So that's true of Yellowstone, it's true of Powder. We're building up the clubhouse and the club restaurants and building a lodge and doing other things to make it so you can spend a long time.
Hastings has a real estate team devoted to the mountain, the first phase of a 5 to 10 year project.
We're really upgrading everything. We expanded land to be able to fit both a fantastic private skiing experience. And private skiing is 600 families get to enjoy 5,000 acres. I mean, it's fantastic. You know all the people on the lift because of the clubbiness. There's untracked powder days after the last storm. It's fantastic. And then also to have a really vibrant public resort. And we're building that up over the next 5-10 years, and really to make Powder a sense of curated beauty where art plays a major role. And so it's the crossover of people who are enhanced and inspired by art, as well as love the adrenaline of skiing.
So the Powder Haven development phasing is at its early infancy. Although Powder Mountain has been around for over 50 years, this private portion of the development is really quite new, and we are just starting releasing those units and those lots right now.
Brooke Hauntz is the Chief Development and Construction Officer at Powder Haven, the exclusive private ski-in, ski-out community at Powder Mountain.
Powder Mountain caters to all types of skiers and snowboarders, from first-time skiers through expert, who have a passion and an enjoyment of really the sport in its kind of more natural forms. Because currently on the mountain, we have not a lot of amenities, and it's more of a natural, what skiing used to be. And what a lot of people, particularly those with mega passes, say, that's what I love about skiing. So people that buy into Powder Mountain as part of the club will be able to share their homes with others through an internal rental program. And so if you're a guest or an owner at Powder Mountain, you would be able to rent or take part in a lease program with other owners. But otherwise, know that the membership is closed.
Taking Powder private, even in part, has not been without controversy, with one snowboarder who's used the public resort for years telling The Hollywood Reporter that, quote, "What is happening at Powder Mountain is awful because of the partial exclusivity."
Are you losing any skiers who really miss the pure public part of it?
Probably. You know, it's inevitable that as we change and add private, it's going to lose some. But we've made a big effort to really embrace, to increase compensation for all the employees, open up inexpensive night skiing. It's $19 to ski from 4 to 9 p.m., super popular, you know, in the local high school, that kind of thing. So, you know, we're making big investments in staying accessible and open for people.
And other longtime Powder skiers like Larry Wolf say it's worth it.
I think it's a win-win. He's made a lot of improvements that I'm very pleased with. For example, he said he was going to put in 4 new lifts in a year, and he put in 4 new lifts in a year. So we now have access to terrain that was only typically available through a cat skiing or skinning. The alternative being owned by large corporations or owned by people who don't get it would ruin the place, and I think he gets it. And it keeps the flavor and the spirit of Powder Mountain alive.
The opportunity here is so different and unique. Not only are we at a slightly different price point than other private skiing, our skiing is more massive in terms of sheer magnitude of acreage, but we also have a wide variety of ability levels. And you're at the top of the mountain almost all of the day versus continuing to return to the bottom. So every time you finish your day or start your day, you're doing that at the top to see sunrise and sunset. I think the inclusion of the art installation and how unique that is in the world of skiing and resort makes us more creative and hopefully interesting to people.
That type of creativity ultimately reflects Hastings. From media mogul to ski resort oracle, he has drawn from his past life to pursue his second act, this time without the same pressure to maximize the bottom line.
But we don't want to be cookie cutter.
You are investing a lot, capital investment into lifts, facilities here and things like that. How does the money flow? How do you cover that cost?
Well, when I think about it, I think of sports teams, and I think of Steve Cohen with the Mets, or Ryan Smith with the Jazz, or my friend Steve Ballmer with the Clippers, and that's big money. In comparison, it's not so much, not as big an investment, but I think it's similar. You know, for them, it's an expression of joy and passion and winning and making a contribution to the public. And for me, it's the same kind of thing, but it's more, again, skiing instead of those teams. And then we make money by selling season passes, and we make money by selling real estate. Those are the two big revenue generators. The value in the long term is unclear because other ski mountains haven't had that same track record. But I would say we're investing, to really make it a spectacular community experience.
So obviously, when you built Netflix, it must have been all-consuming. Does this engage you to the same level? Are you as consumed with this as you were with Netflix?
It's different muscles. Netflix was super analytic, super internet scale strategy. This is more about caring and intimacy and making people feel good in a boutique. So it's a different skill set. That's kind of, I think, what makes it fun. I wouldn't want to go back and try to do another high-scale internet company. How am I ever going to do better than Netflix? So this is in a completely different realm.
Do you have the same sense of purpose about Powder Mountain as you did about something like Netflix?
It's a very strong sense of purpose to create a place of incredible beauty that sparks wonder and that people are talking about for 100 years. So think of it as a physical legacy rather than a brand like Netflix legacy. Part of Netflix's success was a very unique culture that really focused on the high talent people and giving them freedom to operate. And I have brought that culture here to Powder Mountain. And so for the employees, it's an incredible opportunity to thrive and to get freedom and to have responsibility. A difference is it's much more emphasizing love and emotion and connection back to the intimacy. Netflix was around super performance, and Powder is around connection and sparking wonder, we call it.